Well, here we are, and right at the onset, at the very beginning, within the first 4 verses, we find the word superior twice. Let me read that. Hebrews 1 verse 4. So he became as much superior to the angels as the name he has inherited is superior to theirs. So right away you see the theme of something better, something superior, something improved. And so, first chapter starts out that God spoke to our forefathers in certain ways, you know. He spoke through dreams, He spoke through prophecies. But in the last days, He's spoken to us through a Son of God who has a superior name. And you know, this is a letter of contrast. It contrasts what went before with what is now. So the first chapter is mostly about how superior Jesus is to the angels. And He, you know, because at that time, when this was written, there were some people who were saying or teaching, starting to teach, oh, this Christ guy, you know, he was just another angel, you know. Right? But the writer here, whoever he is, is talking about no way, Jose, no comparison. He is so much superior to the angels. Chapter 2 goes on. Jesus was made just like His brothers. Just like us. It says in verse 14, 2:14, since the children have flesh and blood, He too shared in their humanity, so that by His death He might destroy him who holds the power of death, the devil. Now, we're looking forward to the season of incarnation now. And we see here in this very text that He was incarnated to be like us, so that He could understand everything that we suffer and go through. Chapter 3, Jesus has a greater house. Verse 3. 3:3. Jesus has been found worthy of a greater honor than Moses. He has greater honor than the house itself. Because, you know, Moses was faithful as a servant, it says in verse 5, but Christ is faithful as a son. A son. Not just a servant, a son of God's house. And we are His house. Chapter 3 and 4, they talk about a better rest. You know, the Israelites were promised a rest. They were promised a rest in Palestine, in land of Canaan. It was going to be a far better place for them than Egypt was, because they wouldn't be in slavery anymore. But we have been given an eternal rest in Jesus Christ. Not just a temporary one. Not just till the end of our days. Okay, so that's chapters 3 and 4. Go to chapter 5. We have the beginning of a discussion about a far superior priesthood than the Levitical priesthood. Now we have a priest in the order of Melchizedek, an endless priesthood. Levitical priests, you know what the problem with them was? They kept dying. You know? You'd have a priest for, a while, and now we have an eternal priesthood. We have an ever-living priest. Isn't that a little bit better? All right. So we have a wonderful... Here in verse... I think it's chapter 6, verse 9. It says, even though we speak like this, dear friends, we are confident of better things. Okay? Better things. And so he spends the whole book talking about better things. Better than it ever was before. Over in chapter 7, he goes into more details about the priesthood, and he talks about the lesser person being blessed by the greater. And here he's talking about the greater blessings of the new covenant, just like the type of Abraham. His blessings were better than ever before. Now in chapter, we're still in chapter 7, about verse 18, he's talking about a better hope. A better hope. You starting to agree with me now about the theme that things are, they really look better nowadays than they ever did before. Okay, a better hope is introduced by the new covenant by which we draw near to God. And then in verse 22 it goes on and says, because of this oath, Jesus has become the guarantee of a what? A better covenant. A better covenant. We sang about it. The reason it's better is because it's based on grace. It's not based on performance, which we could never come up with enough of. Right? Never could. So he calls it a better covenant. And he goes on in chapter 8. Well, let's look at chapter 8, verse 6. But the ministry Jesus has received, guess what, folks? It's better. It says, is as superior to theirs as the covenant of which he is mediator is superior to the old one. And guess what it's founded on? Better promises. I mean, am I off track here or something? Or is there really a statement here of superiority, that this writer is presenting? Well, let's go a little further. He's talking about in chapter 8, the days are going to come. He's quoting Jeremiah when he's going to make a new covenant. It's not going to be like the old one. It's not going to be like the old covenant he made with their forefathers. No, he says this time I'm going to do a heart transplant on my people. I'm not just going to work on their external performance. I'm going to change their hearts. He says, I'll put my laws in their minds. I'll write them in their hearts. That's the basis of the new covenant. So it's no longer an issue of whether you walk in little specific rules. God has written Himself in the form of Jesus on our hearts. So it is no longer just an issue of keeping some list. I mean, good night. If your heart's different, you know what? If I love you, I will not lie to you. If I love you, I certainly will not steal from you. If I love you, the last thing in my heart would be to kill you. If I love you, would I try to steal your wife?
Feeling the blues today or tired of life already? Do you have questions about life or need spiritual advice? We can help. Log on to worldwidechurchofgod.com or wcgfairfield.blogspot.com and stay connected to reality. The Worldwide Church of God in Fairfield, Santa Rosa, and Modesto are located in the San Francisco Bay Area, regarded as the most prosperous region in the United States. We believe Jesus Christ when he proclaimed in Matthew 6:24 that serving God is more important than serving mammon. We welcome everyone to come and worship and fellowship every Saturday at the times listed on your screen and on our website, worldwidechurchofgod.com.